if I don't manage to transition this body to the next plane, then my imaginary tombstone will say that, and she died of irony. So it goes. Today's nightly reading is about compassion. And the story goes exactly the opposite way today. The version that I was back then flipped. We managed to leapfrog. I've become the receiver of this exact situation today. Don't try this at home. We're talking about compassion today, B4 energy. And we're reading from the Shadow Integration book, just in case. The reversal of compassion shows itself as cruelty in the face of need. She started crying. Not again. I didn't have it in me anymore to slay another insecurity dragon, only to see its ugly head popping back up like mushrooms. I just couldn't help myself. I kept shouting at her to stop. She kept crying. All she wanted was to feel that I really care. At that point, I couldn't give a shit. You know who you are, and I so apologize, and I'm so incredibly grateful and thankful for everything that you've done. It doesn't save any of us, but we managed to couple up as two emotionally incredibly immature beings who had very bad examples, actively bad examples of how people treat each other. So we were not just ill-equipped, we were educated to hurt each other some way. Hello, gorgeous. And yesterday, I had an incredibly moving, real-life feeling sensation of what compassion feels like, and I'm eternally grateful for it. Just care. Just genuinely give a shit. In any couple situation, it doesn't have to be romantic, any two people coming together, there will always be someone at any point who will care more. That role flips. Sometimes we always just put our hands up and just forget that we ever felt love, we ever felt care. But at any point, there will be somebody who cares more. And as long as you have the choice, as long as you have the awareness, as long as you have the emotional, mental wherewithal to be the one who cares more, choose that one. Because the one who doesn't care suffers. It's not a cool thing to do, to shout at someone to stop crying, or to instigate conflict, or to upkeep conflict, or to actively seek conflict, because if everything goes perfectly smooth in your relationship, then something must be wrong. I was the one who just kept asking that, what's the problem? What's wrong? And it's very easy to slip into the matching role that if I keep asking what's wrong, then you will find something that's always wrong. And then we just keep circulating that, then you come back with something that's always wrong, because that becomes our natural native language, that we solve problems together. That's our relationship, that's what we're about. We deal with shit together. And we've never built, since then we have, but back then we haven't built a culture between the two of us where we would have a practice of feeling good together. We would have a daily ritual, a daily muscle memory of cultivating kindness, cultivating joy, care, happiness, peace. We were more inclined to look out for danger because both of us' emotional memories were so heavily weighted with past trauma and suppressed emotions, suppressed energies. And I came out of it just good, but for the past 2 days, I literally could just non-stop crying. I just couldn't stop. And this very beautiful angel, who the story is about, she was on the other end of the phone to me, and she cared. She deeply, deeply cared, and I love and appreciate her for it. You don't need to know the solution to problems. You don't need to solve problems. The only thing that is ever needed in any crisis situation is for people to care. Obviously, if it's a medical emergency or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. There will always be professionals. You can always find people who know exactly what to do. But sometimes, especially around emotions, especially around mental health, we're not necessarily looking for the expert. We're looking for someone who comes with genuine, human, giving a fuck. Nothing can buy that. No amount of expertise, especially when you see people day in, day out and they just become numbers and clients. We're not looking for the top 10 golden tips of how not to fuck shit up. We know the basics of how to deal with each other. We just don't know how to emulate that. We don't know how to treat each other with kindness. Because if nobody has ever demonstrated kindness to us, if nobody has ever practically taught us how it feels to receive compassion, how it feels when someone genuinely cares about you, then we're always going to be reluctant to be the one who cares more, because we think that that's the position where we can lose. It's the other way around. The one who cares less is always going to hurt more. Obviously, I'm not talking about the sociopaths of the world, but genuinely, organically feeling creatures, sensitive, empathizing creatures, will suffer so much more when they try to pretend that they don't care anymore, or when they get to the point when they're so exhausted that they just feel like that it's a one-sided relationship and they will always end up being the one who just gives. Because it's never true that when you're giving without the agenda of receiving, then all you're doing is you're opening up your physical vessel, your body vehicle, to run energy through you that doesn't originate from you. It originates from the origin of all energy. It's not something that at some point will run out. When we're not giving, but we're putting on the facade of being generous, compassionate, empathetic, with the hidden agenda of actually receiving the exact thing that we're pretending to give generously, then first of all, the one you're trying to give to will not receive anything genuine from you. You are not receiving what you wanted to get. And you start desensitizing yourself to the meaning or purpose of why give, why care, why give a shit in the first place. Be the one who cares. Be the one who gives. because you will always have more. You will always have an infinite source to gather that just extra energy from. And when you find someone who really cares about you, tell them, show them how much you appreciate it, because they do give selflessly. They are not giving for the sake of getting something back. So when you do give something back, it means so much more. They gave with compassion in the first place, and they will be able to receive with compassion. So you have practiced receiving and giving. Those are the relationships that I want to be in. Those are the relationships that I want to see more of, and those are the relationships that I want to advocate for with everything that I got. All right, so I'm learning just now. Strange time to be in. I'm practicing, I'm effectively practicing how to, not in a romantic way, how to become the love of my own life. It feels very strange because we've put so many misconceptions on love, even the phrase love. But you're the one that you spend 24/7 with. If you don't love the being that you are physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually spending all your time with, then it's going to become a very interesting relationship. So now I'm practicing how to love this lady, and I would like to practice together. If you're up for it, I'm planning something that will give us a group setting, a group situation, a group of feeling, thinking beings where you get to be yourself at whichever point you are in your own evolutionary journey. You don't have to have all the answers. You can be as broken and scarred and hurt as you wish. Again, past 2 days, fucking bowling. The point is that we care. So if you want to do it together, let's do it together. I love you so much. See you tomorrow.